Yo, what's up YouTube? Today I'm gonna be talking about my final goodbyes to Cold War and hello to Vanguard. This is because Vanguard is literally coming out this week and I just want to make a review video on how Cold War was, the enjoyment, the grind, and like how it was to me personally, and my opinion on it. Keep in mind, this is my opinion. I know you have your opinion and how you see things differently, but this is how I see Cold War and how I see it for myself. I'm going to categorize it by game modes and how the enjoyment was for each game mode. I can't talk about the campaign much because I did not play a lot of it, but I can say that it was pretty fun to play in the beginning missions and I would finish the game. I'm not going to put a official review on it, so I'm just going to say that it was pretty good for the first 3 missions. Now this is when it gets controversial, when I say that I have a strong opinion on multiplayer compared to other players. And I would say that multiplayer was really good, but there was a good amount of flaws. So I would play the multiplayer again later on, but some flaws would be like the maps and like the updates. It was absurd on how many maps we got in the beginning, and then the updates were really bad. I don't think they were really worth it, but there were a bunch of updates in the stores, so like that's really surprising how the store is getting more updates than the actual game. But you know, I would say that the multiplayer was a 7 out of 10 for me. I would say this because it had that original Call of Duty feel compared to Modern Warfare, and I get it that Modern Warfare was really good on like smoothness and how the game feels, and that's actually how Modern Warfare is like special, just from the engine. Now after Modern Warfare, Cold War comes out, like we are spoiled for Modern Warfare, from how the movement is and how good it is, but it's still a good feeling. Like if we had Cold War maybe before Modern Warfare, it would have not got so much hate for no reason, but I do think it can be a multiplayer that you could come back to. I can say though, while I was getting DM Ultra, maybe like around season 2, it was absolutely crazy on how terrible the grind was. I just want to talk about the cover kills, the kills while enemies are taking cover. That is so unnecessary. I think that challenge is not even worth it. I don't even think DM Ultra is worth it. I think Dark ETH is way better and it's easier to get, but I think they should really make better camos for multiplayer when it's harder and more people do play multiplayer. Now I want to talk about the guns, because I think the guns were really balanced almost the whole entire year, except for like the AK-74U in the early days. Then you also had the Tech 9 when it came out, including the Marshalls and the EM2. Those are absurd. They didn't even have it in Call of Duty League. That's how bad it was. So yeah, after using the Tech 9 for so long, for the whole entire season until it got nerfed, I forgot how to use a balanced weapon. Like, it's crazy how OP the gun was and how it could just mess up your skill gap from how easy it was. I just want to compare these guns to Modern Warfare because I think Modern Warfare had worse weapons when it comes to balancing. I don't think the balancing was great. We had the Psychov pistols, then we had almost every shotgun having fire breath. I know when the game came out, 725 was like absurd. There's also Claymores, but that just doesn't count. It's not an actual gun. But there was a lot of OP shotguns. Every shotgun's good. There's explosive shotguns, has 30 rounds. So I think for the balancing, like, Modern Warfare just did not do well on it. I think Cold War could do better weapon balancing than that. Since we are on the topic of multiplayer, I do want to talk about the Cold War integration to Warzone and how Cold War got onto Warzone. And I think for the first time, it really was good. I mean, it is the first time how we've seen anything like this in Call of Duty history, so I see why they had issues. But there was a lot of like issues, including like the balancing of the guns, the attachments. Like a lot of attachments were better than Modern Warfare, so you can have vertical recoil control, horizontal recoil control, then bullet velocity, and then damage range all in one barrel. And then you can only have like bullet velocity and damage range for one barrel on the Modern Warfare weapons. Then you also have the balancing where the DMR was OP, then you also had the MAC-10, then you also had the Diamattis, the AUG, the M16. Like, the balancing on the guns were terrible, and they really need to fix that when Vanguard is on Warzone. And also, I did not like how they only added DM Ultra in the beginning of the integration, because a lot of people, including myself, got Dark Ether just because, and then literally noticed that there was an integration happening with Cold War and Warzone, so it just made it more pumped to get Dark Ether and use it on Warzone, and they did not add that until recently, and it took really long. And had me get DM Ultra, I went for DM Ultra right after, and then maybe like 2 seasons later, they add the Dark Ether. Okay, now we could talk about zombies. I think zombies should have a 8 out of 10, maybe even a 9 out of 10. I think zombies was really good in Cold War, and it actually carried the whole entire game. It was pretty easy, I do say myself. It was really easy, but I do see why they made it easy. There was a lot of new Call of Duty players from Warzone, maybe having their first experience on zombies, and they want them to understand how zombies works. But I do think they should make it a little harder. But yeah, it was really fun though. I think it just carries Cold War like entirely, and they should really have another zombies like that on Vanguard, hopefully making it harder. And the camos, like the camo challenges, they were amazing. I think it was done well. I think the challenges, like, it was good. It just was really time consuming. Like, it's like a peaceful grind. Like, you could just sit back and just kill zombies, have the camos going, just for a really good camo. I think Dark Ether looks way better than DM Ultra. Maybe that's just from nostalgia, but I really do think that Dark Ether should have been for multiplayer. But it's a really good camo. I'm happy that it's now in Warzone, but they should really have better camos like Dark Ether onto Vanguard and future Call of Duty, because it's going to be in Warzone, and it's going to have people get the game just so they can play and get those camos, making them more income and better camos for players. I want to talk about the maps because like it was not good when they came out, like the time period between them. I think it should have been shorter, and they should add more maps in between that. But the maps, maybe after Mare de Toden and Forsaken would be the best maps. Then Die Machine wouldn't be that good. I mean, for camos, it's very good. But I think just for a map, it's not really that good. There's barely anything to do. You don't even have a proper boss fight in the Easter egg. And then for Firebase Z, I did not know much of it. I did not do the Easter egg. That's the only one I didn't do the Easter egg for. But I think it was pretty small, and the time period between Die Machine and Firebase Z was not good. Neither from Firebase Z to Mare de Toden. I think Mare de Toden between Forsaken was really fast, but other than that, like the timestamps between them were not really good. Alright, so this is my final review on Black Ops Cold War. So I do not think that when Cold War came out was good. I think during the pandemic, it was a Sledgehammer game previously. It was carried on to Treyarch. They had to work at home during the pandemic. Like, it was not good when it came out. If they did have more time like Modern Warfare did, I think it would have been way better. I think it could have topped Modern Warfare for a bunch of players. I do think Cold War did better than Modern Warfare personally, but it could have got more players to like Cold War. So my final review would be a 7 out of 10. I did like the game, but it is not better than Modern Warfare statistically, and no other game like before that, maybe BO4, but I do think that the first 3 Black Ops were really good, and they could have done so much better, but I did not blame them. They barely had time. Like, it was a bad time to release it. They should have just delayed it, but it's still a good game from how much they did. So guys, I'm gonna leave it off right here. 7 out of 10 for Cold War. So yeah, this is the final goodbye for Cold War. Last video for Cold War this year. Maybe some future ones when there is an update. But I would say that this is the goodbye for Black Ops Cold War. I do think the game was good. I'm going to miss it. And let's just say hello to Vanguard. And hopefully put some trust in Sledgehammer for this year. I do think they're going to do really good. And hopefully they make a historical Call of Duty. Alright, so this is the end of the video here. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can keep up with the Call of Duty content, especially when Vanguard's coming out. I am going to be making camo tutorials and anything that needs a tutorial for the game. So if you do need camo tutorials, I am here. I'll try to make the easiest ones possible, and especially the ones I personally use to get the camos. I am going to be going for the multiplayer one and the zombies one. So yeah, make sure you like and subscribe, keep up with the Call of Duty content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.